Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 8th of October 2022. I hope you all enjoyed that most recent Hornet tutorial video all about the SA page. A bit of a kind of avionics and technology dense one, but very, very useful, and I hope that kind of brought it all together for you all. Yeah, I'm going to be continuing the series on the Hornet. Probably taking a look at the helmet-mounted display actually next week, because there's plenty of stuff to talk about there as well. Yeah, welcome to the stream, Havoc Company Clan, Mark S, Storm Kimbari, JR Walker, Frantic Stone, Tog, Pink Floyd, Irish Pat 64, David Flute, Tiger Moto, Nico. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. And it is at this time with great pleasure that I welcome the one and only dotChuckles to the stream as well. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very good to have you aboard.
Yes, my brief sojourn for work, which occasionally comes up and I have to respond to, is now over.
Every now and then.
I can spend time with you lovely folks.
All you wonderful people in chat. Hello, Paul Dillon. Hello, Rick Bish. Hello, Channel Right. Welcome everybody. Everybody's happy. Everyone's saying he's back.
Yay!
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
The opinionated arsehole is back.
The myth is real. He is legend, not myth, is what I said in the other one. So yeah, very good to have you back, and we have some interesting news items to discuss this week from DCS.
Yeah, a few things.
Yeah. So I wonder, maybe it's time for me to jump in and run through the newsletter, and that will almost certainly kick off some discussions, I suspect.
Ooh, and we have somebody, Justin Filson from Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Wow, that is a long way away from us, and also a rather lovely place as well.
Hopefully not too badly affected by Storm Ian.
Yes. I hope you're okay, mate. It looked grim. It looked grim, and like I say, I've had many happy holidays in Florida, so it was quite sad to see. So I hope everyone's all right.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, without any further ado, let's take a little peek at the Eagle Dynamics newsletter for this week. Dear fighter pilots, partners, and friends, we are delighted to announce Ugra Media's next map will be DCS Normandy 2, using the skills developed whilst creating the outstanding DCS Syria map, and it is indeed outstanding. The new Normandy 2 map will use the latest DCS mapping technologies to create an epic World War II battlefield. During the last months, India Foxed Echo Visual Simulation, could you have any more words in your name, has been improving and completing the features of DCS MB339 for its imminent release. Those improvements will significantly enhance the unique flying experience that only DCS World can provide. Please check out below DCS Normandy 2 map details and the most up-to-date development progress of DCS MB339. These modules are both coming soon to your DCS World. So,
cool. Let's talk about that.
let's talk about that. So I'm just checking very quickly to see what chat is really excited about. Florida. They're talking about Florida.
I'm being a. Do I admit this? Do I?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'm a bit of a Disney fan, and I love the Disney parks. So Florida has been quite a destination for me several times. Very, very much enjoy it, and looking forward to getting back. But yeah, no, I hope everybody's all right. It looked really, really bad. So
yeah, absolutely. I approve of new maps. I don't approve of DCS World War II, says Tog.
It's a fair comment. Like, I mean, I am so torn. Like, what I will say is this, like the screenshots, this map looks amazing. Like the detail that they've got into this is just wow. Like I am super, super impressed, and especially if it runs at a reasonable frame rate. But I just I have to really crank the handle to get excited because it's World War II stuff.
Syria does. Syria runs nicely. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the early warning radar stations on the British Isles. That's very cool. People complaining dotChuckles is a bit low. Okay, give me 1 sec. I will.
Oh.
I don't have you all the way up on my controls, so let me
Okay.
turn you up a bit. It's probably my fault. Okay, I've adjusted you now.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm hopefully not blowing everybody's ears off. Yeah, like it's there we go. Maybe that'll help. Whoop, whoop. Lots of ear bangs. Yeah, like I say, it's just it looks amazing. Like
it does.
It does. It just looks amazing. But yeah, World War II. Just that. Although Rick Bish is saying, you know, the channel map's a lot of fun to fly choppers in. Actually, yes, it is, because I think it was when the channel map came out. I think it was like the Gazelle I took around in it, and had a lot of fun. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd. Yeah.
I don't have either of them. Just full disclosure here. I've never tried out the original Normandy map or the channel map.
Yeah, but I mean, this does look like a work of art. I mean, I'm amazed at it. Like those shots of London, just wow. You know, really, really good attention to detail.
Oh yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah. So for the World War II guys, I guess like fantastic. I think they'll have a great time with it. But yeah, I can't say I'm gonna rush to buy it. And you know, once I've deciphered the price,
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And actually, I think what they've come up with is fairly sensible.
Yeah.
Kaka737, when do you think, guys, is the F-15E release? Razbam have committed to early access before the end of the year, which, you know, that means Christmas, if they stick to that.
Like I think we stuck fairly. We were quite adamant at the end of last year that it wouldn't be this year, and I am still sticking to that. I still don't think it'll be this year.
Even given the pace of their tutorial videos, we have another 2 that we're going to look at today.
Yeah, I think, but what I'm going to say is that technicality only, I think it will be very early next year.
Okay.
Very early next year. So either way, it's a symbolic milestone. I think soon TM is the answer.
Yeah, soon TM.
Yeah,
like the MB339, which we'll come to in a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read what they have to say about the Normandy 2 map in any case. So, the DCS Normandy 2 map enlarges the DCS Normandy 1944 map to 400 by 600 kilometres, to include London, Paris, and the surrounding regions. Normandy 2 will feature 130 original map objects, and a detailed area 6 times larger than DCS Normandy 1944. The Normandy map has been redesigned to include new churches, train stations, market squares, and gas stations, plus many other cultural and natural features. The United Kingdom region has been completely redone to a much greater level of detail and accuracy. This is in addition to also updating the French region. Key features of DCS Normandy 2, a recreation of London and Paris, improved ground textures, roads, rail lines, fields, forests, and new trees, additional telegraph and power poles, semaphores, fences, and new buildings. More accurate rivers and coastlines, including the chalk cliffs of southern England, updated and unique airfields with greater details and more equipment to better match the period. Normandy 2 brings this number of unique airfields to 50. That's rather impressive. DCS Normandy 2 will benefit from new technology that allows existing maps to be extended with low-detailed areas. If you wish to pass on the upgrade, you may still join multiplayer servers and compatibility with campaigns will remain. Please note that the Normandy 2 upgrade is required to experience a much higher level of detail.
I think that's a really big deal. Actually.
Yes.
Like, we should probably mention this because I think that's a super sensible way of doing this.
Yeah.
I think it's nice because there was a possibility here that you would split you know, the World War II community could, you know, for whatever that is, you know, could have gotten split. In a sort of similar way, I guess, to, you know, people who have supercarrier and people who don't. You know, I think it's good that they're allowing like the kind of, I guess, forwards compatibility.
Yeah, in effect, that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I think that's a sensible grown-up decision that they've made there, and I salute that.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with this. I think this is a good approach because, just to give you a very, very basic example here, if you only have the original Normandy map and somebody makes a mission on the new Normandy map, you can fly it, and nothing bad will happen. So, like, if you don't want to buy this updated map, you don't have to. But if you do, then you get higher detail in the areas outside of the area of the original map. I think that's pretty fair. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh gosh, chat is moving at a pace. Jesus, how big in gigabytes with this map? I'm trying to think. Like, I reckon we're probably looking along the same size as Syria. Like,
it's not as big as Syria. I'm pretty sure Syria is a lot bigger than this.
Yeah, but there's a lot more detail here, mate. Like, there's
true.
a lot more models, there's a lot more things going on, so I reckon that's gonna pad it out. Like textures as well. Like I think it'll be somewhere around about similar size. Tiger Moto saying, I just wish they'd fixed everything as water with a map on top. I think, is that still the case with Edge?
Yes.
Is that still how it does it? Right.
Yeah. It's how it's always worked, and it's still how it works. But the thing is, I don't like. Why does that matter?
It depends how it's calculated. It depends how it's using resource. It depends if it's still effectively rendering water.
It should be culled. Like they should be.
Well,
doing,
that's sort of like yeah. Is there a kind of like backface or obscure cull going on? If not, then that's appalling. But I would have thought that would be the case. What else is interesting?
Mitch saying that VR works but poorly. I only fly in VR. Actually, one thing I would say, I switched from Steam VR to OpenXR as my kind of, I don't even know what you would call it, my VR driver, my VR framework. And OpenXR is so much better. With Steam VR, it was consuming quite a lot of resources, and I had the occasional crash. OpenXR is so much better.
I still use the Steam VR, and I have to say, VR in DCS, I find it to be very good.
I agree.
I think thing is, again, I think that might be your mileage may vary, because I think a lot of whether you have a good experience in VR is A, down to your specs, and also B, down to the headset that you use.
Yeah.
So yeah, your mileage may vary, but certainly for myself, it's been very good, and I couldn't imagine using DCS any other way. With the exception of front seat in the Apache, sometimes that's quite good to be in pancake mode, just because I spend most of my time with my face in the screens. When I'm in the front seat and typing on keyboards and things. So
Byron asking what headset I use. I can answer for both of us because we have the same one. We're both on the HP Reverb G2, which I find to be rather good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Controllers not so good, but luckily in DCS I don't use the controllers.
Yeah. I think like if you were doing anything other than sims, either sim racing or flight sims, I would probably not recommend the G2 to people. I would say go for something else. Go for one of the Valve offerings, or the Oculus. But if you are having a seated experience where you are using it for sim use, the only headset you want to buy at the moment for value for money is the G2.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've as usual, we have gone off on a tangent.
One thing that I missed at the end there was the pricing, which people have been discussing quite a bit. A lot of people seem to be slightly tilted by the fact that this is a chargeable map. But let me go through what they're saying, and then we'll discuss.
Sure. Okay.
DCS Normandy 2 will be available as a complete map for $59.99 US. If you have either DCS Normandy 1944 or DCS the Channel maps, you can buy Normandy 2 for $14.99 US. And if you own both, you can purchase it for just $9.99 US.
Yeah.
I think this is reasonable because
so do I.
The thing is, you're getting, in effect, with Normandy 2, you're getting both maps plus an extra area plus an update to the graphical fidelity all around. So I think that's worth it.
This is a complete reworking. It's not a patch,
Yeah.
So I think it's fine that they're charging for it, and I think they had an opportunity here to really rip us. And I'm surprised they didn't take it because they have in the past. Black Shark update, anyone?
Yeah, we're gonna have a Black Shark 3 soon.
Yeah, they've gone with, I think, once I deciphered it because it took a little bit of parsing. They've gone again with quite an adult decision here that if you've never owned it and this is you coming into the channel map cold. Here it is, full price. There you go, 60 quid. Thanks very much. But if you own a bit of it, then we're going to knock some money off. And if you own a lot of it, we're going to knock even more money off.
And actually, it's not knocking a bit of money off. It's knocking most of it off.
It's knocking a lot of money. I know, right? So you're paying a little bit for all this. Well, we say new tech, but I debate whether it is actually new because we were talking about the Nevada map earlier on, when we were off air. I think I don't sugarcoat my opinions when it comes to Eagle Dynamics and DCS, but I think here this is a pretty sensible, pretty adult decision the way they've chosen to price it because it's not a patch.
Yeah,
it's this is a complete reworking, and I think the pricing that they've come at here is fair.
Also, keep in mind that this is a different developer come on board to make this map. Because the original, I'm trying to think, one of the maps was originally made by Eagle Dynamics and the other one was made by someone else, and I can't remember who.
No, yeah.
Reflected? Right. Was it Reflected who made it or someone like that?
I can't remember. Remember.
So you basically got a third developer coming on board, taking the work of two previous developers, amalgamating it, updating it, expanding on it. This is a new map for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I mean, what's Frantic saying? Now I'm convinced that they work for DSS because charging for an upgrade when it's not too old itself, rework is not fair.
But there's nothing stopping you from just keeping the original and running with that.
Yeah, that's the point. Again, that's the other sensible decision that they've made. Yeah. And then, all right, okay, like I'm not into it, but FIFA, right? So does that mean EA wouldn't charge for FIFA 2022 when they've just brought out FIFA 2021? Like what business world are you in?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's totally fair. They threw everything out, started again, produced a new map, a better map, and they need to be compensated for it. Like, it's there's no question here. And again, they've made a sensible pricing decision, and they've made again a sensible decision that, look, even if you don't want the upgrade, you can still use it. You're just not going to get all the goodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what as a consumer, what is there not to like about this?
Thank you for the correction, by the way, chat. It was Ugra who did the original Normandy map, so I was wrong there. But channel map was ED.
Yeah. But that's one game. This is modules on modules that they do. They add new stuff down the line and charge for the upgrade. Yeah, but
we already had this with Black Shark and with A10.
Yeah.
They do a big upgrade, a change of capability in the case of the A10 and the K50, and you pay a small amount extra to get those upgrades.
And the thing is like I'm not sure the analogy doesn't hold up because modules for DCS are as complex as producing a new game in many occasions. Like, I mean, like producing the Apache module is as complex as producing a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a perfectly legitimate thing to charge for.
Yeah.
I think they're charging the right amount. they're not ripping the consumer here. They're charging a small amount to compensate their work that they've brought in bringing this like large upgrade. And they've also said, and if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. You don't have to. You can still use it.
Yeah.
Again, what is there not to like here?
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
Same,
anyway,
same.
But perhaps we should move on. Let's take a little look at the DCS MB339 development report. This is a big one, and I think it really shows off the detail they're going into here. With each of these training aircraft, we've seen quite a focus on training abnormal situations. Like the L-39 had all the flip switches in the back cockpit for simulating failures and enabling kind of auxiliary equipment and backup modes and things like that. C-101 does the same thing as well. This actually looks like it's taking it to an even higher level. Like, the stuff they're simulating here is pretty immense, and I think a real first for DCS. Like, this is touching on the levels that we saw with Phoenix and the A320 and MSFS, I think. Anyway, let me begin. The MB339's development will receive continuous improvements and additions that will result in the DCS MB339 being the most accurate reproduction of this aircraft for PC flight simulations. Major features at release will include the following. The electrical system, I'm not going to read out all of this because there's a huge amount of detail here. But basically, we're getting all the circuit breakers and their logic and the ability to reset buses, which is really, really cool. And the load meters will all work, which actually in the original Black Shark they did too. This is looking nice. Hydraulic systems, main and emergency, complete with their linkages to the different systems that they service. Anti-icing system. I showed the video for this last week. I thought this was really cool. Canopy icing and windshield demisting feature, pitot and AOA sensors anti-ice, and engine anti-ice. Ice formation causes loss of aerodynamics and engine performance. I don't know. Did you see the video that I posted last week?
Yes. I saw that. Yeah.
Very, very cool, I think.
Super nice.
Pressurization system, I won't go too much into that. Navigational system, we're going to have VOR, DME, TACAN, ILS, and GPS with a working CDU. And this, I want to call out. Possibility to set the DTC. ED. Why? Why is it that all the third parties are giving us DTCs? Okay, not all the third parties, but we've seen the community mod Super Tucano give us a perfectly functional DTC. MB339 is now apparently going to have some kind of DTC. Or an F-16 DTC when?
I know, right?
just when, please. Yeah. It's to my mind, it's one of the major features that we're missing in the sim as a whole. I mean. I desperately want it for the Harrier, because the Harrier, like the way we operate the Harrier in VAF in our missions is slightly unrealistic because we can't do the things that the real pilots do with, pre-programming a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, I'll finish my rant there. I could go on for a while.
Yeah.
COM1 and COM2 radios reproduced according to flight manual procedures with 3 separate PTTs. The stick PTT allows communication to the selected radio. COM1 and COM2 PTTs on the throttle allow communication on those relevant radios. And it will be DCS SRS compatible from day one. Woo! We like a bit of SRS. Armament system, realistic master arm logic. If the master arm switch is turned on when on the ground, then in flight with the gear lever up, it's necessary to turn it off again and then on again to allow weapon fusing. Because I guess there's a different interlock for that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's like a physical interlock. So if it's been on, it's like pins and all sorts of things. It's like it's not just an electrical interlock. There's a physical mechanism that happens for safety.
It's very cool. They've simulated the 2 separate oxygen bottles in the oxygen system, and if you have the aircraft set up for solo, and so you only have one valve open, then you basically get twice as much oxygen, and you can fly for longer with one pilot.
That's really happy.
Yeah, that's a fun little detail. Fully working electrical and mechanical pumps in the fuel system, fuel dumping, fuel imbalance, and fuel transfer logic. IFR hood for training flights and a complete damage model. The MB339's development is progressing very well, and we're confident with the current progress. With great pleasure, we inform you of its imminent release. Please stay tuned for details and check
so
out
good.
development screenshots.
So good. So I'm a huge fan of these little two-seat aerobatic aircraft,
Me too.
like jet trainers. I love them. In fact, I am probably the happiest in DCS when I'm in something like this. Like, I just love it. And I know, they're like, a lot of people think they're boring and all that kind of stuff, but I really enjoy them. And I think for me, it's like there was a time a little while back where there was the possibility, if I wasn't such a fat body, of owning one of these with a few folk, or not one of these, but owning something similar.
Like a hunter.
As a part share, because like these aircraft, like an L-39, comparatively cheap. If you've got a consortium of like 5 or 6 folk, it's actually not, awful to own. And I think that's why I like flying these, because it's not outside the realm of possibility that you could fly one of these things. And I think I like that. Whereas, I'm never going to fly a Harrier, an F-16 or an F-18 or an Apache. It's never going to happen. But one of these, there is a small chance I might be able to fly one of them.
That said, I think it was just last week, I saw an article about the very first ever civilian registered F-16.
Oh, yes. And there's
a Harrier. There is
yes. There's
one
two.
Harrier.
There's shortly going to be a GR3 that's going to be in private hands as well. And I think there's a GR5 that is a Hangar Queen that is for sale that could be made to fly.
There's one guy here in Sweden who flies a Viggen on the civilian registry.
Yeah. There's also a Tornado
wow.
that might come into civilian hands. But they are saying it's only going to get sold under the condition that it's got the right technical team behind it. So, I mean, like, yeah. So yes, there are these things showing up in the civilian hands, but like, you're talking astronomical amounts of money.
Absolutely.
Whereas something like this, or an L-39, or an Alpha Jet, like,
you'd only have to be quite rich, not amazingly rich.
It's like a lot of money, but again, like, consortiums are a thing, and you go in with enough people, like, it becomes like, probably a similar cost to just, if you've got enough people to just owning and operating, a regular GA aircraft. But yeah. So I don't know if maybe that's why I like it, but I think they're pretty, and like, I can wrap my head around them really quickly, and I can fly them well, because they're very pure aviator aircraft.
Oh yeah,
it is from your hands through the stick to the control surfaces, and that's it. And I like that.
Mr. Yeti has a tenner. He's asking if anyone else is in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just a big fan of these types of aircraft, and I love that we have them in DCS. I actually own this for Microsoft Flight Sim, and yeah, the system is sort of much simplified, because I think they put this, if I'm right in thinking, they put it out for Microsoft Flight Sim, and then they brought it to DCS.
Yes.
And so they've put it out early, and like, the Microsoft Flight Sim flight model for this is nice. It's obviously feels like a bit of an early, an early effort. So I think what we're going to end up with in DCS, which is kind of like the pinnacle of what they can do, I think it's going to be really good.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Dancer, any information on the price for this yet? No, we haven't had any pricing yet. And Byron, I just wanted to pick out this chat that Byron posted a little bit earlier. Here's an exercise someone with more time than I should do. Go back through 2 years of newsletters and add up all the work in progress news and screenshots that we haven't seen yet from ED. I actually did this at the start of the year. Now, someone will need to flip back through the DCS News live streams to figure out which one, because I can't remember. But I actually did this, and me and chat, we actually all together put down everything that had been promised in the newsletters. Actually, I think I was mainly using the kind of state of the sim kind of annual videos that ED puts out, and we detailed everything that had and had not been delivered.
They're getting through it. Like because there's the unofficial roadmap post in the forum, which admittedly I've not checked for a while. I should go back and look. That kind of basically lists all of this.
Yes.
That you can go and look at the unofficial roadmap and see where we are with everything, and there is a lot of green on that roadmap now.
So we do still have some notable things, of course, like the new weather model, the new air traffic control. There's still a bunch of stuff they want to do to the supercarrier. And then, of course, recently they did those mini updates. I covered them last week for the F-16, F-18, and Apache, detailing like what the next priorities are.
Yeah,
that was very, very good.
We're getting there. I mean, sadly, a lot of where the orange and red is on that roadmap is core stuff from DCS, which is
Vulcan multi-threading. etc.
Yeah, all that stuff has been our big bugbear with ED. But yeah, progress is being made.
Yeah, Vulcan multi-core dynamic campaign, ATC voices, DTC weather. Yeah. Is it the MB339 that they say won't be released in early access but complete? I don't recall, actually. Maybe someone remembers. That could be true. Actually, I remember there was one or two aircraft where they were saying we're not going to do the early access thing. This is going to be the complete thing when it comes out.
Yeah. Kiowa was one.
Yes, that's right.
Which is probably why we've not heard much from them, because the last time we heard from them was basically they were saying it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Which I respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good on them for doing it. Because that's hurting them in their pocket by not going, well, it's good enough, we'll put it out. But instead they went, nope, it's not good enough, we're not doing it. And we'll see it when it's ready. But it might have been this one that would come out in fully featured.
Would make sense, because I guess they've had the opportunity to use MSFS as the beta.
Clint S asking, wasn't Herc supposed to be feature complete at launch, or did I take too many drugs this morning?
I'm pretty sure they did say that, actually. What they said was they were only going to ship certain variants of the C-130J at launch, but that those variants would be complete. It wouldn't be early access, which I guess is kind of the sort of the F-14 approach, where with the F-14 they delivered the F-14B in a very, very complete state at launch, and then gave us the F-14A later. And now they've, in fact, I guess in a way, they've actually given us two different versions of the F-14A now. So they've kind of given us 3 Tomcats now.
So the thought just occurred to me, things like the MB339, we've got the Mirage, we've got the MiG-21, I guess the L-39 to an extent. What we could do with this, a Central African map, Bush Wars.
That would be so
that
cool.
Kind of thing, because the Mirage, that was its sort of stomping ground for a while. Same with the MiG-21, and then these light attack kind of jets absolutely fit into that kind of scenario.
Yeah,
that would be super cool. And an interesting terrain, and not something we've really seen in combat flight sims before, but still a totally valid environment. I'm thinking like Angola War, all that kind of stuff. That would be fun. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Clint S mentioning the fact that there's a 4th version of the Tomcat on the way as well, because they're making the Iranian one. which is very cool.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just, that am I right in thinking the Iranians still have the glove veins on theirs?
Yes. Yeah, because they're super early A models.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have everything, all the original features.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because see, people are responding to this African thing, like the Magister as well. Like, absolutely, that looked really, that had that weird kind of V-tail, didn't it?
I'm not familiar with that aircraft.
Yeah. But that's right, it was used a lot in Africa. Yeah, Angola, Namibia. Yeah, it would be like an African map would be really cool. Like, interesting terrain and lots of scenarios you could come up with that. Yeah, I'd see that. Good for helicopters as well, but then you'd need like the Royvalk and Alouettes and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh
Nice.
God, Baron Farris said I still want a DCS Strike Master. Yeah. So, funnily enough, the aircraft in question that was between a group of us that was like, we could buy this, was a Jet Provost.
Yes. Nice.
So yeah. Oh gosh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder now if it's time to take a little look at the developments in Razbam's F-15E Strike Eagle.
Yeah.
They've been posting tutorial videos a fair amount recently, and we have 2 videos most recently on the PAX system, which is the kind of armament system that's built into the F-15E. I vaguely remember this from Jane's F-15 Strike Eagle. Actually, so much of this feels very, very familiar because they're using the slightly older version of the UFC with that red tint and the kind of digital font, which is the same one that we had in Jane's Strike Eagle.
Yeah. I mean, this is quite the system.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like
there's a lot going on with PAX. Yeah.
The avionics in the Strike Eagle in general is very, very complex.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Not so video makes me sleep, says Fighter Jets HQ. Actually, funnily enough, I was watching this sitting on the train on the way home from work the other day. And I did nod off. There is something about his voice, and the thing, and I don't mean to be unfair because his videos are fantastic, and the information that he's giving us is absolutely brilliant. He is of course a subject matter expert. He was a backseater in a Strike Eagle, so he knows absolutely what he's talking about. But unfortunately, his voice is very adept at making me sleep.
Yeah, do you know what? That I have several YouTubers that are like that. I find a lot of Adam Savage's one-day builds that he does on his channel are perfect for sending me to sleep. And what was his name? He was the Kiowa SME.
Oh yeah, that guy. He was brilliant. He would
like,
talk like 20 minutes just about the circuit breakers. Like
I know,
it's fantastic.
But holy crap, if you need to get to sleep.
Oh, I wish I could remember his name. He was great.
Not Barundus, was it? No.
Maybe.
No. Maybe was it Barundus? Oh, I
Could
can't
have-
remember. His
I
stuff was
remember.
really good. Like, I mean, it's not a slight on him. You know,
No, certainly not.
If you choose to pay attention, his work is brilliant. But if you just have it on in the background, it's very soothing.
Oh yeah, super good. I need to watch that one that he did about the Kiowa again, because he did a series of videos about the startup of the Kiowa, and I think like the total runtime was like something between 2 and 3 hours. I was like,
his knowledge is so deep.
It was incredible, but I remember afterwards thinking you would have just about ran out of fuel by the time you completed the startup the way that he's just demonstrating it. But he was talking about everything. Like he knew every detail about everything. It was brilliant.
Which is great. I love knowing that detail. So
yeah. And Clint S thinks it was Barundus.
I think it was Barundus. Yeah.
But
yeah, The pack system.
Yes. So these were two videos that were released recently. I'm not going to play them in their entirety. I've just got them going in the background while we talk about it. As you can see, basically nothing visually happens in these videos. He's mostly talking and just clicking through the options. You can see the antenna going back and forth on the air-to-air radar. That's about it.
Very, very, very much the Guy and Max territory, this system.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much stuff you can do with it. So many arming options, and get used to this kind of stuff if you want to play. If you want to play with the Tornado. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Yeti, and then there's Boogie Dope doing 60-second how-to videos. Yeah, his are very, very good.
Yeah.
I only discovered Boogie Dope very recently, and I didn't know about him before, and I was very impressed with the quality of his stuff.
His stuff is very good. His stuff is very, very good. But then sometimes you want to watch a video because it's like, okay, just give me the facts and so I know how to do it. And then there's sometimes like videos like this or Barundus with the Kiowa where you watch it for I wish to absorb the knowledge and understand what is happening.
Yeah.
And then sometimes because I need to get to sleep.
To Tog saying that our man Daddy Wags sometimes puts him to sleep. Oh dear. Yeah. Actually, I rather like Wags has quite a dry delivery, but I think that that's actually good for this type of video. Like it's very, very easy to listen to him and to take everything in.
But the thing is you run the danger of you put on some Adam Savage or you put on Barundus to fall asleep to, and then you wake up 4 hours later to whatever the fucking YouTube algorithm has brought you to. It's an 8-hour video of garlic bread being sent into space on a balloon.
Probably.
How did I get here?
Irish Pat 64. Yes, Boogie Dope was a Viper maintainer. He was actually, I think he was even a chief.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, Luobi's 1-minute DCS videos made me snort beer out of my nose, says Clint.
He's so funny. Yeah.
Is he still doing those? I haven't actually watched one of his recently.
Seen it. I haven't seen much stuff from him. I think he had a bit of a technology failure, with his computer's editing machine. So his output dropped off, and I don't know if he's kind of come off the boil a bit with it, but his stuff was so funny. One of the best videos he made was when the Syria map came out, and he went into the history. He did this 30-minute video about the history of Syria and the conflict, because I think he has some I think he's worked out there and lived out there, so he knows his onions on it. But the way he presented it, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The way he summed up the whole scenario. If you haven't watched it, go check out Crash Lyobi's video on Syria. It is brilliant. If you're easily offended, maybe get a life, and then don't check it out.
Just don't be that way and watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Mitch, I like deep hacks videos, just the right amount of speed and knowledge. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Don't know what VMAX switch does. Thanks to Boogie Dope. Well, no, I think what you mean is you do. Thanks to Boogie Dope. Yeah, he had a video recently about the max power switch in the F-16, which basically in anything other than basically the original F-16s does nothing. It's not even wired anymore. But in really old versions of the jet, you flicked that switch, and basically the engine would run till it melted itself. It disabled all the protections.
Fun.
Yeah,
we like a switch like that.
Oh yeah, every now and then.
Anyway, packs.
Packs, yes.
Thing is, I get confused because we're talking about packs, and I think, oh yeah, I wonder if it's too hot in the rear cabin.
or you think about the A-10 and I forget what it stands for, but that's the system it has for stabilizing the aircraft when firing the gun. Yes, but in this part 1, he mostly demonstrates the air-to-air mode of the packs, and then in part 2, he demonstrates the air-to-ground. It's really nice. I think it's a very advanced system, and it goes well beyond the kind of systems that most other aircraft have, because it has the concept of profiles out with a particular weapon profile. Whereas, something like the The Hornet or the Harrier or whatever else, the profile is just the weapon, and then inside the weapon profile you can have multiple deliveries kind of saved. Whereas the F-15, the profile is out with the specific weapon, if that makes sense. You have aircraft wide profiles that you can flip between, which is nice.
And I think as well, like the delivery methods that you can then program into this is sort of pretty vast, because obviously the Mud Hen kind of came about like at the back end of the Cold War, before we were heavily reliant on smart weaponry. So there's a whole bunch of stuff like loft and lay down and all that kind of nonsense that you can play with to your heart's content, which is going to be good fun. Like I come back to the sort of discussion that we had once, where I was kind of like about the Mud Hen, kind of a bit like and you pointed out, but Chuck, it's the American Tornado, and I went, ooh, actually.
Yeah.
and then kind of got the point. So yeah,
it's a very important aircraft, I think.
But I mean, of course, we all know when it comes out, none of this will work, and it'll be really, really broken.
I'm being hopeful. I'm being hopeful because they have some really good SMEs involved here, and I think and I think they've learned a lot from their experience with the Harrier and the Mirage. So,
no, I'm just memeing. No, like hopefully you're right. And I mean the thing is that yes, the past releases has been a little bit spotty in terms of things that have worked and not worked, or just aren't available. But the one thing that I know about Razbam is that they make it good, and over time they turn their modules into something absolutely spectacular. I mean, we only have to look at the Mirage 2000.
Yes.
As a lesson of how you take something that's like, okay, this is a bit broken and is missing a lot of features, into holy crap, this is one of the best modules in DCS.
Yeah.
So, whatever state this release is in, when it does release, I am very confident that it will mature to being an excellent product.
I'm actually just really enjoying Clint Essie's comment there. Tornado is a British VARC, small VARC. Change my mind. I'm not going to change your mind because you're right.
Because you're right. That's what it is. But it's much better than the VARC. So
the thing is, the VARC is like double the size of the Tornado. The VARC is huge,
and the Tornado had capabilities that the Aardvark doesn't. But it is pretty much don't have to change your mind, you're not that wrong.
Yeah, and of course the RAF were looking at purchasing the Aardvark. And in fact that's why is it TSR? I forget now. Was it the
TSR2?
TSR2. That's why
Touchy
the TSR2
subject.
Yeah, that's exactly why that was cancelled, because the British government wanted to buy the Aardvark.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot more going on. A lot more going on than just purchasing the Aardvark, and that was the TSR2 was sacrificed on the altar of economics and political ideology. It's I mean the TSR2 story is crazy. But that said, the TSR2 had some big problems. There were some big design issues with the TSR2 that admittedly they would have gotten right. I mean, the landing gear on the TSR2 was terrifying. If you ever see footage of it landing, you can actually watch because it had that crazy inline wheel setup on each on the bogies on the main gear. And if you watch it landing, and if you watch the cameras that they had on it, you can actually watch the main gear go out and in like that and snake.
Oof.
Like an inline skater, it was like its landing gear was a big problem. That was one of the things that they were working on, which was, I believe, one of the things that was delaying its progress. But it was absolute Star Wars technology for its time. It was vastly ahead of anything that had ever come before. It's a shame. We would be we would be further ahead if it hadn't been cancelled. But that is something. If you don't know about the TSR2, go and research it and read the things about it, because it's a very interesting story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I have seen it. I have seen the remaining artifact that they have of it. I saw it at Yeovilton. I don't know. I don't think it's still at Yeovilton. I think it's moved on now into a different museum. But you're looking. It was like, you know, if you saw that when it was being made in the 70s, you know, it was like you were looking at the future. And it looks like a Colonial Viper from Battlestar Galactica. You know, it looks like it should be in some kind of 70s Jerry Anderson science fiction. It's the crazy aircraft.
Get those Vipers in the tubes.
Yeah.
I really like this question from Irish Pat. Which of the upcoming modules do you think you'll love enough to do a deep dive Saturday tutorial on? And people immediately start suggesting the Eagle. Yeah, the Eagle is quite likely. However, I will only do it once the module has reached a certain level of completion / stability. Because that's one of the things that's holding me back from doing the Apache thus so far. I would actually really like to get my teeth into the Apache. And it's not that there's anything particularly wrong with the stability of the Apache. The Apache looks great. It's just there's still too much of it missing, in my opinion.
So there's bits of the Apache that are broken and are quite critical. I don't know if they have fixed it, but like target marking was broken in multiplayer, which kind of, well, that fucks the Apache. But I mean, until the longbow system,
the radar, I really want the radar and the data link.
Until longbow and data link, there's no point, because like that's going to fundamentally change how you use the Apache. So,
and you know what's going to happen, dotChuckles? Once the Apache has the data link and the radar, we will probably have to do videos similar to the ones we did in the K-50 together.
Oh gosh, yes.
So you'll need to take up an Apache, I'll take up an Apache, and we'll pass some targets back and forth, just like the old days.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Byron Farrow, but if TSR2 is in service, then no Tornado. True. Very true. Yeah. Because the Tornado was a response to the gap in capability that the TSR2 would have filled.
Yeah, because in the end, the RAF rejected the F-111.
Yes.
So, you know, TSR2 was cancelled to go for the F-111. F-111 was rejected by the RAF, so then they needed something.
Again, like, there's a lot of, you have to, there was a lot of politics behind this. That part of the reason why the F-111 was rejected was because there was an opportunity to kick money to the industry in the UK through the Panavia project, and
yeah, of course,
there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, whole bunch of stuff with that, and it's a very interesting time in British aviation. If you don't know about it, go and read up about it, because it is very interesting.
And it's around about this time that we got the Jaguar as well, right? Or a little bit after, I think, the Jaguar.
Little bit. Jaguar was like the back end of the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was a trainer that people went, ooh, this would actually make a really good ground attack aircraft. But the trouble with the Jaguar is that you have to fundamentally believe that the Earth is round. Otherwise, you're not going to get off the ground, because the Jaguar does need the curvature of the Earth to take off.
It has afterburners.
Okay, so I will tell you a story about the Jaguar. So one of the early red flags that the Jaguar Force went down to, they were at not McCarran. What's the big airbase in Nevada?
No, you're asking.
It's not McCarran. No. The huge fucking Chattel, no. The massive fucking airbase that red flag takes off out of. Jesus, what is happening to my brain?
I can't remember either, and the thing is, I've flown out of there in DCS, so I should know this.
Oh my god, McCarran's
that's the civilian.
Civil, yeah. Oh my god, that's awful. Nellis, thank you. Jesus. Right. So Nellis has got this honking great big runway, right? Honking great big runway. And the Jags are there. And they line up, and this is in the dark.
Jags.
Okay. They line up. They've got their warload on. They've got the air-to-air missiles on the overwing pylons, just to destroy all the lift on your wing. Okay. So runway at Nellis, absolutely massive. And it's like, right, 3, 2, 1, brakes release, max afterburner, charging down the runway, still going. Okay. Okay. Charging down the runway. Boards are going past. Charging down the runway. Those are the red lights at the end of the runway. We're still not at 190 knots, which is what I need to rotate. And basically, he got it off the ground. He got it off the runway with the red lights of the runway end marker just passing underneath him as he came up. And he was doing about 190, 195 knots and was not climbing. Now, as you know, at Nellis, massive mountain in front of you. Okay? You need to climb. You need to climb. So he selects gear up. What happens when you select gear up? The gear doors come out. So he's going 195, 194, 193, 192, 191, waiting for just the, come on, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. And then the gear comes up. And then he slowly starts accelerating and climbs out. Now, the Americans there thought they were hot dogging. They thought they were showing off, like keeping the jet low on full afterburner for funsies. And it's like, nope. That's how much a Jag needs to take off. And it was the standard joke that Jaguar pilots believe in the curvature of the Earth because basically the Earth has to fall away underneath you.
Deary me. Needs more Delta V, says Talk.
The Jaguar, it took a while to get off the ground. But beautiful aircraft and did some pretty cool things. So, you know, there we go. How did we get onto that subject? I can't remember. Yeah.
Because we were talking about the F-15 and the fact that the F-15 is the American Tornado, and then
TSR2,
I mentioned the Jaguar.
Tornado, but then we might have had something even better. I don't know. But the thing is that the TSR2 came from a doctrine that's kind of outdated now, in that everything in the 70s and 80s was about speed and nukes. That was it. Speed and nukes. Got to go fast. Mach 2, deliver a nuclear weapon.
Got to go fast.
That's it. That's what your aircraft needs to do. Whereas now, you know, it's the balance has shifted. Now it's about maneuverability, nose pointability, and low observability.
Modern aircraft are slower. But have super maneuverability, have super cruise, have stealth, and have sensor fusion. Like, that's what's important now. Whereas back in the 70s and 80s, it was need big engine, go fast.
The job, Whereas now, it's different. So, I don't know. Like, who knows? Who knows? I mean, even the Tornado was a bit of a, you know, the last gasps of that ideology of, you know, big engines, go fast, drop nuke. You know, because I mean,
and even during the course of the RAF, the Tornado's career with the RAF, the doctrine around it changed, and they used it differently.
Tornado, I want to say, and I'm sure chat is going to correct me because I'm always wrong about these things, but I want to say the Tornado held for a long time and maybe still does the sea level speed record.
I would think that the Viggen would be a contender for that as well.
Right down in the weeds was ludicrously fast, and I'm pretty sure it held the record for that for a long time. That at sea level it was bonkers fast.
Crikey.
Is it? Yeah. It does hold the record. Yeah,
you're actually correct. It is the Tornado. And the thing is, at altitude, the Tornado does Mach 2.2, which is kind of ridiculous. So that's very, very fast indeed.
You know, part of that, you know, got to go fast, got to drop a nuke kind of, you know, I mean, the Tornado kind of bridges the gap between, you know, that ideology and then what we see with things like the Gripen and the Eurofighter. But it's it was something dunker. It's like Mach 1.3 at sea level or something. Which is crazy, crazy fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Pink Floyd, yes, it was the Jaguar we were talking
well,
about.
I mean, the thing about Nellis is
having a hard
really
time getting
high
off the ground
as well, and it's hot. So you're hot and high, and you're in a an aircraft powered by a couple of afterburning hair dryers. So
yeah. It's actually, it's not uncommon for barometric altimeters not to have enough range of adjustment to actually do a QFE at Nellis. So they commonly have an adjustment table, and you tend to do an offset, actually, because you can't actually set the QFE at Nellis on many aircraft.
I remember once I was flying out of Johannesburg. It was an SAA 747. And I was sitting back in the back of it in economy, and Johannesburg suffers from a similar problem: very hot, very high. And I just remember him, like, we were held on the piano, we were sitting on the piano keys, and he just like held it on the brakes, and like you could hear the max thrust going in, and this was 747-400, so that's a lot of thrust. I mean, like, they can't do it on the ground for very long because they start to actually rip up the tarmac. But he held us there and then let the brakes off, and it was like being kicked in the ass. And we were just thundering down the runway, and I'm like sitting there looking out the window going, yeah, we'll rotate any minute now. Any minute now. Any minute now. Okay, we really need to rotate. Okay, we've just passed 2 intersections. I know there's not much left on this runway. We really need to get off the ground. And then you just, like, you see the rotate happening, and then, like, maybe a few seconds after, you got the end of the runway shooting past, very low under the aircraft, and then starting to climb out. And it's like the most asthmatic climb from this 747, which is headed for London, so it's fully loaded. And I mean, it was terrifying. It was absolutely, it was one of the few times where I've been like, okay, I'm actually a bit scared now. And it's just that whole density, density altitudes problem. You're hot, you're high. It's going to take forever to get going and get lift. Yeah. It's the only time.
Exactly.
Apart from landing in a hurricane, on coming into Philadelphia, where I've been like, okay, this is scary.
That's where the cream cheese comes from.
That was in an old ass DC-9 as well. Not even a MD-90, like an old proper DC-9. And it was like the tail end, I forget which hurricane coming in, and it was coming ashore nearby, and we were trying to land in that, and it was, that's the only other time I've been a bit scared in an aircraft.
Deary me. So anyway, F-15 Strike Eagle packs videos parts 1 and 2. Can highly recommend. Actually, which channel are these on? I think they're on the Razbam channel. So I would very much recommend that you go ahead and check that out. And we have a little bit more Razbam news in the meantime. We've got some stuff here. Ron Zambrano, he's the lead developer on the F-15, posted a video, Strike Eagle playing with the MPCD's brightness and contrast. Probably not the most exciting video that we've ever seen, but hey, just demonstrating that the displays are fully adjustable in a realistic fashion. That's nice to see. Especially when you're flying at night or in kind of different lighting conditions. It's nice to be able to fiddle with the displays like this.
I suppose you need content.
Something. There you go. Yeah, exactly. They want to show off something here. Excuse me. This just goes on and on like this, him repeatedly clicking the rockers. And then the other thing they were tweeting about, we got a single picture, 23 MLA. So let's just display that.
That's still a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I would suspect that they've only been doing the modelling on this. I doubt they have any any systems going on yet, but the models look nice. So that's really cool to see. MiG-23 still coming, and I guess you could say the MiG-23 is kind of the Russian Tornado, just not as good.
Yeah, I mean it's a comedy bad.
Yeah,
but I still really want it, and I still really want to fly it because variable wing, swing wings and
yeah.
Great big engine.
And if it's anything like the MiG-21, we know it's going to be challenging to fly, because I used to fly the MiG-21 in DCS a lot, and a big part of it that I really enjoyed was that the challenge of operating it under different regimes, which is kind of a big part of why I fly the Harrier now. Because the Harrier, you either fly it by the book or you crash. Like, there's not much wiggle room.
Yeah, I mean, recovery in the MiG-21 was always kind of sweat. It's like landing the bloody shuttle,
Oh yes, actually, it was a lot like landing the shuttle, because you had to come in so flat, and you had to land it. You had to be power on for the landing because of those blown flaps. If you idled it, then you actually lost almost all your lift.
I mean, like, yes, MiG-23. Comedy bad aircraft, but like, what I find interesting about it is the way they solved problems with it on like what was clearly quite a limited, not only fiscal budget but technology budget.
Yeah.
And for that, it's pretty cool.
Carp Comet. Hey, how about we make a strike fighter with no range?
Yeah, that goes in the different direction from where you point it.
Yeah, classic. So yeah, that's still coming, and we've had these images posted by Razbam just to prove that they are still working on it, which is nice. That's good to see.
Yeah.
But that's basically it for news. That's what we've got for this week.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else major that is in our wheelhouse. Let's see, what has chat been saying? We know desync stuff. YouTube is being crap.
It does this from time to time, sadly. I am transmitting in sync, and the recording that will end up on YouTube will be perfect, but sometimes the live broadcast is not.
Yeah. It seems to be might have been repaired by now. Yes, people are agreeing that the MiG-23 was a truly terrible aircraft, but we all want it. That is very true. I still want it.
We all want it.
Tu-22 blinder was even worse. Yes. Channel Right saying we've not had an aesthetic upgrade since the new clouds. I would like to see the high freeskins soon, and dynamic weather would be fantastic. God, yes, dynamic weather. This is this has been a thing for a while, hasn't it? They've
been working on this for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and it seems to be, dead on arrival at the moment, but
Clint S also pointing out, doesn't ED still owe us one more model reveal?
I think that's true. Yes,
I think that's true. Yeah. And as Milan says, Growing Sidewinder posted a sneak peek to the new AI dogfight behaviour. I know that they've been putting a lot of work into the AI. We've already had a few revisions in-game, and there are more coming, which is really cool.
Yeah, and like their interim AI update was pretty good, actually. Like, it is starting to fight like a human, which is, like
impressive and terrifying.
Yeah, having it make sort of quite sensible tactical decisions at the merge, whereas it just used to be like it always just used to get you into a vertical fight no matter what, So
yeah. Irish Pat, Deepak, you've downed 3 pints without us knowing. Smile. I don't know. Why? Do I look bad?
I think it might be, there might be some delay going on.
Probably. There was something I was going to add. Oh yeah, and of course we had this kind of tease for the Jaguar. Now I already covered this last week, but I wonder if that might be the next module announcement, because although we don't know if this is a community mod or an actual full DCS module.
So I remember Jaguar came up about 8 or 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like not long after I think we had like the third DCS module. And I remember back then it was nope, can't happen because of licensing.
Yeah.
But the same was said about the Tornado. So,
Yes, exactly. And I think, as we've already heard, it depends who's asking.
yeah. So who knows? I like the way, like, looking at that release, it felt a bit community mod. You know,
It could be.
know,
We don't know. Like we know nothing about it, sadly.
yeah. I mean, holy crap, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
does it come with a keybind to kick the Navwas? So, like, it was a thing on the Jaguars. The Navwas, the navigation and weapon action system, or some weapon aiming system. That was it. In the Jaguar was literally a box of cogs and belts that sat between the pilot's legs, and it was a mechanical computer that calculated.
Was it like an angle rate bombing system?
Yeah.
Kind of do that.
Mechanical computer, but it also moved the moving map, like, which was like a microfilm with a map on it that like a camera looked at, and it shone it onto, a screen. But it was completely mechanical. And you could basically, when it started going wrong, you could kick it. And it would like jump the gears and start working again.
Start moving again.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, I think it got like, I mean, the Jaguar like has been massively updated, and eventually it got replaced.
Yeah, the later versions were fully electronic.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm hoping we're getting one of those ones.
But the early one needs a keybind. Kick Navwas.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It works.
I hope we're getting a Jaguar. I think that'd be really cool.
But yeah, it's a valid point. I think we are due one more announcement. So,
Clint S., if you had to pick between a Jag or a Buck, which would you rather have in DCS? I would go Jaguar.
Jag.
Yeah. I'd rather have the Jaguar.
No,
the Buccaneer is undoubtedly cool, but Jaguar all the way.
Jaguar. No, Buccaneer. Jaguar. Don't make me choose. It's like asking to choose between kids. Like, which is your favorite kid?
I hate them all.
Yeah, probably Jag.
Yeah.
Or Buck. I don't know.
Definitely one of the two. We can commit to one of those. Yes.
Yeah. Yes is the answer.
Yes. Basically. Oh dear. Well, perhaps now is the time when we should pimp Davath.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So the bag you are very good. Yes, the Virtual Air Force is a virtual online squadron that was founded by myself and dotChuckles. We have an opt-in milsim approach. You can join the squadron as a freelancer and fly whatever aircraft you want whenever you want, without any kind of training standards or anything to adhere to. Or you can join one of our internal numbered squadrons, where you'll do a type rating and mandatory training, and you can fly with us in missions. Freelancers can fly with us in missions as well, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Come join the Discord, have a chat with the people there. If you fly with us, that's great, but even if you don't fly with us, everyone is welcome. Everyone's very welcome to join the Discord and just hang out and chat. There's a whole load of really fun stuff going on in the Discord. And we currently have squadrons for the Harrier, the A-10, the F-14, the F-16, the F-18, and the Apache. And we're always looking for more pilots in all of them. So if you fly any of those aircraft, that's great. And even if you fly other stuff, that's perfectly fine. Come and fly with us as a freelancer, or not. Just hang out.
Yeah. Special shout out if you are a air traffic controller or GCI type. We would like to hear from you.
We would. We're always looking for them.
We are trying to implement human ATC and human ground control intercept positions.
Yeah, we generally do have those, but we're always looking to have more. So we can have multiple positions and do a lot more stuff. Byron, anyone out there who might be considering flying online but is nervous about it, please join in. Yeah, we do a lot of hand-holding. You will help people get their systems set up. We use SRS, and we help people set that up. And we have a mod repo, which automatically downloads all the necessary mods to fly with us.
That's a very nice point from Byron. Thank you very much. I think it is important to point out one of the VAF. We have a low tolerance for bullshit and ego.
Oh yeah.
So, if you are nervous and it's not something that you've done before, and some people get like talking, like for example, communicating on the radio. Some people get nervous about that and never do it because they feel either pressured or that they're going to make a mistake. We are very supportive of people like that who want to give it a go and want to learn, and you can do that where nobody is going to be jumping down your throat or slapping you upside the head because you didn't get the phraseology exactly right. So if that is somebody that sounds like yourself, feel free to join as well, because we like to make sure that everybody can take part.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Storm Kimbari. I forgot the most important part, which is when we fly. Training on Tuesdays, and that's at 8 p.m. UK time, and every Thursday we do a mission. Oh, that's right. Oh, wow. Okay, Storm Kimbari knows more about our schedule than I do. Yeah, we do sometimes do PvP on Saturdays, that's true. And yeah, the mission nights are the Thursdays, also at 8 p.m. UK time. And that's every week. So yeah, please come join us. That'd be a lot of fun. And I guess I'll give my shout out to Deepak's ground crew just now as well. If you want to support me and the channel and the work that I'm doing to create tutorials for various DCS modules, you have the option to join Deepak's ground crew. You can do that by clicking the join button below. It's a small monthly fee. It's 29 Swedish crowns per month. I think that basically works out to like $2 a month or something fairly small like that. If you have the disposable income and you feel like supporting me, then that's fantastic. If you don't, then please subscribe, like, and comment, and that's also absolutely fantastic. And I'll give a quick shout out to the current Deepak's ground crew. We have J.R. Walker, Mangash, Channel Right, Frantic Stone, Storm Kimbari, Byron Farrow, Leo Netzel, and Hirish Rajan. Thank you very much, all of you, for supporting me.
What a bunch of good folks. And also thank you very much, Irish Pat, for your donation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irish Pat. I just noticed. That was very, very kind of you, sir. Fantastic. So that's basically all that we have for this week. He's been dotChuckles. I've been Deepak. I do a video premiere every Saturday at... Now, let me see here. 6:30 p.m. UK time. I'm currently doing a series on it, but I'll probably branch out and do other aircraft very soon as well. And that's always followed by the DCS news, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching right now. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you very much for watching. See you all later, and fly safe. Ta-ta.